Okay, so this video is designed to help you with assembly. Your assembly is going to be very different from mine because all of our parts are different, how they go together, but this will give you an idea of how to use the assembly system. If you get really stuck, you'll have to submit your whole folder to me, and then we can try to figure it out on my machine, and then of course I would expect you to go back to your machine and try it out. So one of the things that you have to do with the program is you have to be able to start a different type of file. So here we go to new, and instead of the standard thing, this time we're going to do a standard.iam instead. So I'm going to go ahead and start that up. That's what it looks like. Okay, and we're going to place one of our parts. So that's what that button does. Now, if it says anything other than that, so this is like from content or imported files or whatever this thing is, iLogic, I want to just make sure it says place. All right, the place is going to pop up. On my computer, I have to go through jump through a couple hoops here to get to where we need to be. So, stand by. There we go. All right, so I need my yellow part to start with. That's where I saved it. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring that in. I'm going to use the wheel to roll back a little bit, and I'm just going to click, and that drops the part into position. Now, the yellow part is going to be where things are grounded, meaning that I need to make sure that this part stays in place on my screen and doesn't move around like I'm moving it right now. So I'm going to just right-click on the yellow part. So again, right-click on it, and down here is a word that says grounded, and I want to click grounded. I want that part to be my foundation. So I'm just going to click that. Now what happens is when I go to move over the mouse now, you'll see that it changes into a push pin and also a grounding symbol, which is kind of funny. And it means that this part is no longer movable on the screen, so I can try. And as you can see, it doesn't move. So that's good. Now I'm basing my construction off of my puzzle cube that's sitting in front of me, but you would be basing yours off of the puzzle cube that you've drawn on your notebook. So you'd have another kind of 3D version of it. The next piece I'm going to bring in that makes the most sense for me is my blue part. So I'm going to again click place. I'm going to click on the blue part, and I just double click it, and I'm going to drop it onto the screen and then hit escape on the keyboard. Now the blue part can move around, as you can see. The blue part is not in the correct orientation, so you can see it's kind of matched up placement-wise with how the yellow part is. My blue part needs to go in a completely different direction, and I'm going to use my assembly tools to push it into that direction. Now up here in the upper right corner, you're going to want to get real friendly with this. This is what allows you to change how you see the three-dimensional object, and I absolutely have to change it because I cannot see the side of the blue part that I need to see in order to assemble this, or stick it, if you will, to the yellow part. So I'm going to just turn it this way, and you'll see I click the upper corner, and I'm going to turn it just one more click this way here. And now I have the sides I need, because I'm going to glue this face here, this face, to this face to start with. Now the way I'm going to do that is by clicking on Constrain, and the Constrain window is going to pop up, and there are two different types of constraints we're going to use to keep it simple. So the first constraint is here called a mate, and what mate is basically like gluing one face to another. You can see that the mouse has sort of changed its job here, so that face is getting glued to that face. The other one is called flush, and the way to look at flush is you're going to even things up or make them the same plane or surface. So let's start with mate first. So I'm going to mate this face to this face. Now what that's going to do, hopefully, is turn my blue part so it's in the correct orientation. Let's hope for that. And it did. Okay. So now you can see it took the blue part and it twisted it and stuck it to the side of the yellow piece. Now we need to apply this. This is kind of the pain in the butt part. Like, this is not official until we push the apply button. So apply, apply, apply. Okay, and now that's in position. Now I can still move, I'm going to cancel this for a second. I can still move the blue part around, but it's stuck to the yellow piece. I know it doesn't look like it is, but it is in fact stuck to the yellow piece. The next thing I want to do is I want to make the tops of these shapes the same height. So I'm going back to constrain. I'm going to use flush. I'm going to flush the top of the yellow with the top of the blue. And that locks that into position. Don't forget, apply that. Now watch when I move the blue piece now. Now it just goes back and forth. No matter where I go with the mouse, it's now even with the top of the yellow part, and it's stuck to it also. All right, so it's just able to move in this one plane here, which is the X plane, I think. So the last thing I want to do is I want to make this face even with this face. And so again, going to constrain, I'm going to use flush, and I want to flush that face and that face. And I hit the apply button, and now because the yellow part is grounded and can't move, and the blue part has been glued and stuck to the yellow part, the blue part also does not move. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly how I want that to work. Let's go back. We're going to hit the home view. And that just puts things back to where they were before. So now you can see the blue part is officially stuck to the yellow part using 3 different constraints to do that. All right. Okay, so the next part that I'm going to do, again, and trying to make sense of how these go together, is I'm going to bring in my green part. Let's see if I can figure that out. A little slow here. Okay, so there's my green part. Now my green part, let me zoom out here. We'll just drop it over here and then hit the escape button. It's also facing the wrong way. Unfortunately, that thing needs to rotate about 180 degrees. So I need to figure out spatially, how am I going to glue that on there? So I'm going to go ahead, and in the background here, you guys can't see me, but I'm going to take off the black part and the red part and see how I can make that work as easy as I can. So let's take a look at the green part. Let's revolve around. This is what it looks like. All right. And like I said, this is complex. This face right here needs to stick to this square. So let me see if I can actually make the computer push that part like into that attachment. So we're going to click that, and that didn't work. That did not work. I don't think. Let's see. No. All right, so we're going to cancel that. So sometimes when you go to put a part in, it doesn't cooperate. So let's try this. We're going to try to stick this side, this rectangle, to this side of the yellow part right there. So let's see if that does the trick. So we're going to go ahead again with the mate. Let's just say that didn't work either. Okay, so we're trying different ways to get this to line itself up, and it's not always cooperative. So it actually took the piece, and they are stuck, like there's no doubt about it, but this part is supposed to be up here. So it's turned my green piece upside down. So that's not good. So cancel. And that puts the green piece back. Okay, let's try this. We're going to try to stick this part here to the blue part and see if maybe that works. So there's a lot of trial and error. That's what we wanted. Okay, perfect. There's a lot of trial and error. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. Okay, and then I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to move my green piece away a little bit just so we have an idea. So it is going to fit in kind of like this. This is what it's supposed to do eventually. So now, let's see, what can we do? We can actually flush this face with that, and that will line that up nicely, I think. Yes, we're going to do that. So we're going to do another flush. We're going to flush this with this, and that will lock this piece in so it only goes up and down. So you can kind of see how it's going to fit in there. And so to make this green piece stop moving, I'm going to make this square flush with this rectangle. So again, constrain, flush, and I want to flush this surface and that. And that locks it in place. That's how the green piece is supposed to fit. So you can see there's some trial and error in trying to get these things to go together, and you just have to practice with this. This is not an easy thing to do. It's more or less trial and error with you trying different things until you get it to go together. Now let's hit the home view. So it's coming together nicely. You can see my 3 pieces out of the 5 are already in place. Those, of course, are this is the basic puzzle. So you're going to see as I assemble this, we'll do the black piece will go in next, and that goes through all 3 layers. So the yellow piece, the blue piece, and the green piece go through all 3 layers. The red piece, you're going to see that does not. Okay, so yeah, let's bring in the black piece here, and there it is, my black part, and we're going to go ahead and drop that in position. Just go ahead and do that. Hit escape once you've clicked it once. You only need it once. What does this look like? This actually has a little piece on the back that looks like that. So you can see this is what it kind of looks like from different points of assembly. We can actually tilt this too, so I'll show you some of this. You can see kind of underneath, so you can see the bottom. You can click the corners, just rotate around corners. So you can kind of see from there. We can see the front view. Okay, and then we'll hit home view here. Actually, you can spin it to see other views. There's the right side view of the cube, top view. We can turn it this way. Pretty cool, right? Using these arrows. But you can always go back to the home view if you start to get lost. Now, the black piece goes in with this little, so again, it's not in the right orientation. This piece here is going to go in here, in this area here. So that's kind of the tricky part about the black piece. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle this from a different perspective this time and use mate and flush in a different order, and I'm praying and hoping that that's going to work for me. So let's see here. We're going to hit the constrain button. I'm going to go with what's called flush this time, and I want to flush this surface to this surface to start with. And okay, that worked great. That's exactly what I want. Now again, the black piece, it is still not in the correct position. All right, so I have to be patient with this. The next thing I'm going to try to do is another flush. I need to rotate this 90 degrees. So where this is sitting now, it needs to twist itself 90. I think I have a plan for that. So we're going to twist it like that. And I'm going to use flush again. And I'm going to flush this surface, because I want to rotate this down 90 degrees. And I want it to be flush with this surface here. And that worked perfectly. So you don't always have to use mate to start with. In fact, for this one, in theory, I could use 3 flush commands, and in fact I will, so you can see that, and I'm not going to use mate at all. So don't forget, apply this so that goes away. Now the black piece is locked in, so you can see it's supposed to drop in like that. Okay, so that's how that piece drops into the puzzle part. And again, I'm going to get this to lock permanently by using a 3rd flush command. So constrain, flush, and we're going to make it the square of the black flush to the square of the yellow. So these 2 top pieces, and as you can see, that locks that into position just like that. Okay, so we're looking pretty good so far. This is what my puzzle cube is starting to look like. And hit the home view. Now the red piece, let's just twist it so you can see this. The red piece is going to fit in here like this. So you can follow my mouse. It's kind of like a Z shape, if you will. But I bet you that's not going to drop in the way I want it to either. All right, I'm going to cancel that. Last piece, red piece. And there it is. And no. So it in fact did not drop in how I wanted it to. That's the Z shape that it looks like there. Excuse me. But we've got to make some changes to this thing. So this thing has got to be rotated this way and then flipped at the same time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try again with the flush command, and I'm going to start with that. And I think I'm going to try saying make this end flush to that, and it didn't go. Why didn't it go? Let's cancel that. May have not understood what I wanted. So let's try that again. Flush this to this. Okay, it did it that time. As you can see, the piece is still not correct. The piece still needs to rotate 90 degrees to fit in here. So I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to mate this rectangle to this blue square here. And I'm going to hope that that flips the part in the direction I want to go. So mating this surface to that surface. Oh yeah, that worked perfectly. So you can see now that my red piece is going to drop into place quite nicely, just like that. Okay, so that means that I can make the top of the red piece flush with any of these pieces here. So flush with that, flush with that, flush with that, flush with that. Doesn't really matter. You can pick whatever piece you want to. They're all stuck to the yellow piece, which is what we're going for here. So constrain. We're going to do a flush the top of the red, and let's just do flush with the green. Doesn't matter. It could be green, could be blue, yellow, black. We'll do the green. And there is my full assembly of the puzzle cube. And again, my design did not have the red piece. This is the basic design. Does not have the red piece going through all three. In fact, it only goes into the first layer of the puzzle cube, unlike the other four pieces. So that was my design when I initially actually took this class. So you can see yellow goes through, blue goes through, green goes through, and black goes through, and red just kind of hanging out on top there. And you can look at this from different views. It's just pretty cool how you're able to see this thing three-dimensionally. Again, clicking the house puts us back to the home view, and that, everybody, is a way to assemble your puzzle pieces. Again, if you're really stuck on this, you're going to have to drop off your folder in Google Classroom. I will upload it, and then we can see how you might be able to get your puzzle cube assembled. But for most of you, I think you're going to just kind of sit down, you're going to experiment with the system, and you will find ways to move and twist these into the positions they need to be in. Again, using the constrain tool and simply using mate and flush today, you should be able to stick those pieces together without too much of an issue once you figure out spatially how they're supposed to go. So there you go.